Heyo! My name is Travis, aka HorrorDude69, and today I wanted to go over the reasons why I hate the new Resident Evil Netflix series. Hate might be a strong word, but personally dislike just didn't look cool in the title. Okay, so there's a new Resident Evil series on Netflix, and oh boy, let's just get right into it. Here's the premise. A dad and his two kids move into a new neighborhood. The kids go to a new school, and that basically covers 50% of this show already. Every episode bounces back and forth between before and during the apocalypse, which takes place 15 years later. The show does a pretty good job at bouncing back and forth, balancing the screen time spent on each time period pretty well. The cinematography and visual effects aren't too bad either. In the pilot episode, they mention Cape Town, South Africa.
Cooler than what you used to, but Cape Town's just an hour away.
Which is also pretty cool because that's where E.I.E is from. But that's basically where the good things for this series end. This is just another generic zombie apocalypse with more boring characters, none of which feels like the Resident Evil we all know and love. I feel like in proper Netflix fashion, they just went and Netflixed it up, making it an extremely expensive but boring, edgy teen drama. The dialogue makes no sense at times and the jokes never land.
Lemon horse, guys that jerk off to CrossFit, Elon Musk.
I don't know.
It's a joke.
Netflix is beginning to seem more and more like the direct-to-DVD of this generation. Like, how are you going to take one of the scariest zombie mutant franchises and then almost completely remove the scary and the zombie mutant elements? And to fuel the fiery train wreck, you then replace those elements with bad humor and middle school teen drama. I feel like this series would have caught way more of a break if it wasn't called Resident Evil and just didn't use the Resident Evil IP at all. If this was a new series called Zombie High or something like that, it would have been a little more palatable. Netflix, I swear to God, if you make a show or movie called Zombie High, I'll lose it, I swear. I won't cancel my subscription, but I'll just be very disappointed. And I'll make a video about it, okay? My point is that if it was just another generic zombie series, it would have had a lot more potential with its concept and execution. As it stands, this is just another poor attempt at adapting an already loved and valued property. I mean, after episode 1, this show has completely killed my soul, and I was hoping for it to get better. And spoiler alert, it did not. In the later episodes, there's literally a dance sequence for no reason, like at all, and without any meaningful impact. Like, what? Is this still Resident Evil that I'm watching? I don't understand. On a positive note, I will give the show props when it comes to ending episodes on a cliffhanger. They definitely nailed that. But back to being a negative Nelly, a good cliffhanger does not really help if the rest of the episode makes you want to click away and cremate my screen. This series at least accomplished one impossible thing, and that is to make the entire internet unite and hate on it. The Rotten Tomato and IMDb scores for this series definitely fairly reflects on the concept and execution of this series. Most people just hate this thing, and I get it. Not only are the characters painfully uninteresting, and like seriously, it actually physically hurts me, but the dialogue is borderline horrific. The characters don't communicate like normal people or just like humans in general. The jokes are probably the scariest part of the series. There's literally a line where the protagonist jokes about reading Zootopia porn.
Right. I mostly just read Zootopia porn, so.
Again, what the heck is this? I am so tired of bad Resident Evil adaptations. The games are great. The movie started out all right, then went downhill, but when it comes to this series, it was just bad from the get-go. It had nothing in common with the video games that it was supposed to be adapting, except for a few Easter eggs sprinkled in here and there. There's no connection to the source material, and it doesn't even feel loosely based on these video games. It feels like they just read the Wikipedia for Resident Evil and just ran with that. The only things it has in common with the video games are borrowed names and references. I still don't understand how Netflix still hasn't realized that their current game plan for adapting literally anything isn't working. From Cowboy Bebop to Death Note to now Resident Evil. Stop taking already popular properties and trying to ride off that wave. Just make new properties that cause their own waves. I mean, look at Stranger Things. You can't tell me Netflix does not have the money to do this. I really think the majority of these adaptations would have done so much better if it was just original concepts and not remakes, reboots, or reincarnations. What's next? A Naruto series starring Ed Sheeran? A Minecraft movie starring Adam Sandler? The madness has to end, people. I know the appeal of using an already existing fan base is huge. I mean, over at E.I.E, we're no strangers to parodying existing franchises ourselves. But with the size and success of Netflix, they have more than enough resources to keep investing and creating good and original content. Make something that people in 10 or 20 years want to reboot. Don't just keep beating the same already dead zombie horse. In conclusion, there's no point in taking a video game and making a show out of it without having anything in common with the video game. What is the point? You don't get new viewers because the show isn't good enough to stand on its own. You don't get the video game viewers because the show has nothing to do with the game they like. Who's winning? No one. That's who. I don't know. Maybe Netflix is just using the properties to get the initial first watch from fans, and that's enough for them. The least they can do is hire a team that has played the games and is passionate about the story and the characters. That way, at least you get a true and honest adaptation that's faithful to the source material. There's no point to take the name of Resident Evil and make something that has nothing to do with it. I just want to reiterate that I don't think this show is the worst show ever made. The cinematography and visual effects were well done, and again, as a standalone series, it could have done alright. The issue is that the adaptation is just super generic show, and it borrowed from a legendary franchise, then dropped the ball completely. They tried to make a monster movie, but instead they created a monstrosity. Well, that does it for this episode. Do you agree with my points? Do you love or hate this new series? Let me know in the comments below. And lastly, if you'd like to see more, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend that likes animation and movies. Thanks for watching. HorrorDude69 out.
You pull me closer, but don't waste your time.